So what I'm going to do now is we're going to talk about the 10 elements of a powerful profile. So the 10 elements that we are going to look at today, just in summary, is obviously your photo. And I think I need to partner up with a photographer because I think the photo is so important. I want people, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but there's a professional photo is great, but if it doesn't emanate warmth and trust and builds confidence in the buyer, then it's gone. It's a waste of money. So we'll talk about that. The headline, which is the little text that appears in search results, because some people, like actually me, use LinkedIn to find service providers. So the last time I needed a lawyer or a coach or even an accountant, I did do a quick look through LinkedIn because I actually wanted to see how they presented themselves without their professional glossy website, because I knew that someone else had probably done that. I wanted to see their authentic selves and how they describe themselves. So that's why, some people do use LinkedIn as a directory saying, find me an image stylist, or find me a photographer, find me a videographer, find me an accountant, etc. So the headline has those key words in it. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it has to really be compelling. It's the most important part after your photo. Then you've got your contact details, which is a quick check just to make sure that you've got your mobile phone number in the contact details, because a lot of people don't, and also an email address so people can email you if they don't want to talk to you. The industry and location, there are search criteria that people will use when they want to search for you. So just making sure that we've got that right. So that's just little tiny checks. Then the main chunk of what we're going to be talking about is your summary section, which just sits underneath your photo and your headline. And we're going to make sure that's really compelling. It's sort of like your bio, but you're not talking in the third person. You're just telling people what you're passionate about, why you do what you do, the type of clients that you like to help, and a little bit about your products and services, and maybe you'd slip in a little testimonial if you've got the space. So we'll talk about that. And then your employment section, which goes all the way down. So someone, and not many people do this, but if they go all the way down to your profile and they want to read your experience section, that means that they are pretty interested in you, and they're just doing their due diligence, and they're seeing if you've been in the industry for 5 years or maybe 3 decades. So for the people who, there's different types of people, and there's some people who do a lot of research. For that type of client, it's worth just doing it just the once. You just fill it in there so it compels them to say, yeah, she's got the credibility, or he's got the good experience, he's got a good scope of experience from a lifetime. And so that's what we're going to pay attention to today, especially in your current role. But we can also think about perhaps what the most proudest moments were in your last few years, just so people can get an idea of you and a little bit of background on you. And then the next section, which is really making your LinkedIn profile pop, is bringing in all of the media, so any videos that you might have done, or any photos of being on stage, or anything like that, and infographics, digital brochures, things that you've been doing, in other programs. You want to bring that all in so that you're repurposing that content. And then we're going to talk about the articles, because a lot of people these days are checking out your thought leadership, and we're going to think about what we should be writing about so that you're going to flip them over the edge to say, yep, I definitely want to contact that person. And then lastly, it's the little posts and the updates that you'd send on a day-to-day basis. And the reason why you do that is because you want your ideal type of client that you're connecting up with to see your name come up in their feed. So that builds familiarity, so that when you do reach out to them with a little message, they go, oh yeah, I know Greg, or I know John. They've had some really good comments and thoughts about industry issues. I will take his call, or I will respond to that message. So how does that sound? And all before lunch. Yeah, but that's not all. So what we're going to be doing is then talking about how to use that profile, because that's gold, that's your online profile, that's your positioning. What we're going to do with that is then leverage that with generating leads with the profile. So Yeah, it's really exciting. So I will move on to the next slide. So basically the purpose of your profile is to build up your positioning within your market, build up your personal brand. When someone Googles your name, they are very comfortable and looking forward, almost excited to talk to you. That's what I want the outcome to be. Alrighty, so on to the first bit, the photo. There are photos like this on LinkedIn, and you've probably seen them. So there's dudes drinking beer with sunglasses on. There's guys trying to show their musical talents, which is fine. And there's people who are posing like that. And what I want is the essence of who you are to come through in the photo. So I want the eyes to be looking at the lens when not anywhere else, because you actually build a lot of rapport when that simple thing happens. People who show teeth, photos that show teeth, have got a 20% higher conversion rate of moving someone to call. So it's just amazing. Like, that is actually a statistic. And looking, when you're getting photographed, you don't want to be looking down at the lens. Why would you not want to look down at the lens? Double chin? True, could be. Yeah, you're not connecting, and what does that say? Avoiding contact. Yeah. So, how do you feel if I'm like looking down at you like that?
Well, I don't look at your eyes.
Yeah. Right. What people do is they feel intimidated. So you don't want to be looking down at someone. And this is also when you're doing a Zoom or a webinar, or you know those online conference calls. You want to make sure that you are speaking eye to eye with the person. So when you get the photograph taken, you see eye to eye. Similarly, if you're looking up at someone, it shows that you're not, you're perhaps subservient. So you want to have that positioning. So so that's just a little thing. It's important. And also with your colours, this is where I 100% love what Kirsty does and image consultants do to help people pick the right colours and the right styling. So I think that it's just such an important thing to get right in your professional photography. You're thinking of something else to say, aren't you? So you've got to make sure that the colours are right, and this could be a completely new presentation about what the type of outfit that you choose has an effect on the whole success of your LinkedIn profile. Because people are pretty, they look at your profile and they'll make a judgment call. So, and I want them to read your copy. I want them to read about your summary. So when you're looking at photography, when photographers, I would have a look at their portfolio and I would see, are they emanating warmth? Are they emanating the true character and the personality of that person? Or is it just a stiff looking photo? So I want them to see, the lines that you've had, from smiling for so long in your life because you're such a great person, So I want all of that to come through. Your headline, if you do something that's pretty complex, but the end result is awesome for your clients, it's best to describe what you do by using the top template. So I help, and then you insert your target market with, insert your line of expertise that, just is a common words that the layman, your prospective clients would use, nothing technical. And then achieve the desired result. So that will get them to understand exactly what you do. If you do something that's really complex. If you do something that is easy to understand, then it's really easy. You insert the common titles and the keywords and maybe, your accomplishments. So I'll give you an example, and this is in your notes, so this is on page 2. So this is, I've used this one because this is very rich for search engine optimization. So if you know your target market are likely to be using LinkedIn, it's good to have your keywords in here. So LinkedIn lead generation and LinkedIn marketing, and then LinkedIn trainer are very, very, like people go to LinkedIn obviously, so I'm best to use this. But you could say, you know, that you are a business growth coach providing online programs to SMEs who want to grow their business to the next level, for example. So this is up to you, and you can test it a lot, you can tweak it a lot, but this is, you got 140 characters. Who wants to do speaking as part of their lead generation strategy? Yeah, that's really good. It's one of the best ways to generate. Instead of having one-on-one meetings with potential clients, you're saying one to many, basically, 1 to 100. So it's a very, very good way. So one of the excellent ways to get more speaking gigs is to say you're a speaker on LinkedIn, because then other speakers connect up with you and you can connect up with other speakers, and this might be good for your head guy to start getting some traction in the market. Yeah, so they will attract you. And I was approached by a lady who was a speaker as well a few months ago, and she had just talked to NAB, to the staff down at Burke Street. It was 250 people in the room, and then it was syndicated, it was recorded for 40,000 staff members across Australia. And then she was asked, who else do you know who would be good for our people? And she mentioned me, and I've only spoken to her once on the phone from connecting up with her on LinkedIn. And then I got into this NAB, and I was talking to them about how they can help create powerful profiles, you know, for themselves. And that's gone out to 40,000 people, and it's on their intranet. So that's how fast opportunities come on LinkedIn. So it's a very, very good way. So if you are interested in speaking as a way to generate and grow your business, then just pop it into your headline. LinkedIn's got some really obscure type of industries, so I just want you to have a look and select the best one that's for you. If you're not sure, have a look at what some other people who do similar work to you are how they're categorising themselves, and then you make up your own mind. And then finally, just the location. Is anyone not from Melbourne? Everyone's based in Melbourne? No one's based regional? That's good. Sometimes if you're in Shepparton, or if you're in Geelong, or if you're in a regional area, the location becomes a problem, because it's wherever you want your clients to come from is the answer. So I'm going to give you 7 minutes just to update all of that, especially your headline. I want particular attention, because that's going to take the brain power. And I'll come around. So what I'm going to be looking for with the headline is that I want to understand what you do in a nutshell without even knowing you. So you can't be, don't be grey, or don't be sort of beige. Just explain it in layman's terms. And if you can follow that little, that template, or this one, that would be great. And just as a little bonus tip, if you really want to make your LinkedIn profile stand out, you will be able to insert symbols as well.